Hi there, it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about makeup brushes and makeup tools. So it's very exciting for me. So I'm going to show you kind of an overview with my camera, all the brushes that I have and the ones I really use, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I'm going to start with the brushes that I have been using and I regularly use. Some of these are really new for me. I just washed everything, so that's why it's laying out like this. And I have an aloe vera gel over the brush tips because it helps keep everything in line and it just sets the brushes back into shape. So that's why they look like that. So things are just kind of like spread out everywhere, not really organized right now. But I just kind of wanted you to get a sense of what we're working with. So I have a lot of Rephr brushes. I have a lot of Sonia G brushes, Goss, a couple random, some Bdellium tools, some Sephora Collection, some MAC, and I believe this one is Luxie. And then I have some other brushes up here that I haven't been using as much. Sephora Collection, It Cosmetics, another Bdellium, I believe this one's from e.l.f., and then a Fenty brush. So just some random stuff for you. And then so this is kind of like my collection I'm currently using. It seems like a lot, and it really is. I don't use all of these all the time, but they all are really, you may not think that they're different, but they are. That's the crazy thing about brushes. Each one is different even though they look pretty similar. I also have a full box of old brushes that I've kept, and I want to talk about those as well. So that's kind of the overview of what we're working with here. Alright, so I'm going to start from the beginning of my brush collection. And these are the old ones I'm still hanging on to, and that I really used to use exclusively until I started watching YouTube more and started to research, okay, maybe I should get some better brushes. But so let's start from the beginning. My first real collection of brushes was like a travel set from MAC Cosmetics, and I don't have like the full set anymore. I believe I got rid of the ones that I didn't really like. So unfortunately I don't have like the full set anymore, and I think I had some duplicates in that set anyway. Alright, so this is kind of a mishmash of basically my original MAC collection. So the original collection had this black, these are travel size, so they look really short, but they have the color at the end, and this is like years old. This is like back when I was in high school that I got this, 15 years ago. So this is like a blush brush, and I believe this is natural hair, and I think the set that came with it was also natural hair. Like it had like eye brushes that came with this. It was like face plus eye. It was a set, and I believe this is the 217 that people really like. Now that I feel it, it's a little rough. It's got to be natural hair. I think it's got to be like goat or something. And then this is like a concealer brush. This is the 242 SE. I don't really use it, but I kept it. But this sort of had like 5 pieces in it with this color, and it had like different colors at the end. I believe this is MAC too. This is like a foundation brush. I I don't really use it anymore, any of these in my old box, just because I've gotten better ones and I can't, it's hard to go back, in my opinion. Once you get really good brushes, it's hard to go back to your old ones that are just not quite right. But anyway, that was kind of my real introduction to like real brushes. I don't really know what I used before that, to be honest. Maybe some random brushes from my mom. I have no idea. It beats me what I was using on my eyes. Maybe, I don't know. And then like after that, I really went for like Sephora Collection brushes, and I have a few of these. And I've had this like foundation brush forever. It's all bent up. I think these used to be all the rage, but to me they provide a really streaky finish, so I don't really like it. And I have had a couple random sets from Sephora. These are all like synthetic hair brushes. This is like a colorful collection. It had a bunch of eye brushes in it. Nothing really spectacular. They don't feel great. I have a couple brushes from like the Urban Decay Naked palettes. And then I've had this Sephora Collection Kabuki brush for a really long time, and this is really what I used to apply bronzer with. It's really big, it's really dense, it's not a bad brush, that's why I've kept it. It is shedding a lot. And I haven't really replaced it. It's not terrible, it's just not great. And then, yeah, I think that's it really for my old sort of brush collection. So I kind of went into Sephora Collection, and to me, like, their regular, like, this is a Sephora Pro brush. This is a Sephora Pro brush. I still use this pretty often. This is the Pro Featherweight Fan. It says number 92. I don't know if they still sell it. I think it was on sale not too long ago. It's really soft though. I really, really like this. I think the Pro Collection is better if you're gonna go with Sephora than their like standard collection. They sell a lot of sets, and I've bought a couple of them over the years. Not the Pro ones, but the regular ones, and they're okay. You can get by with using them. Like, this is a highlight contour. Seems really strange for highlight. I could see it as a contour. So I've I've just randomly used some of their stuff. It's not the best. I think the worst part of it is the Sephora Collection brushes are pretty expensive for what you're getting, even if they are synthetic hair, and they're not always the softest. That's just kind of my experience with them, so I don't recommend buying their synthetics. If you're gonna get a synthetic, I would find a good, cheaper brand, and one that comes to mind is Bdellium tools. And I have a couple of theirs. This is the Golden Triangle collection, and I'm just gonna pull out what I have from them. This is my Bdellium tools. I actually got my mom a whole set of makeup brushes from Bdellium tools. I don't know if she's used it yet, but I figured they have like a nice bundles that you can give as gifts, and they have a whole lot of brushes in them. And I think these are nice quality synthetics. I wasn't gonna give her like a whole range of natural hair because that's a lot of money. But I think these are nice quality. I have the 776 blending brush. It's white, it got dyed pink. I have this bold concealer at 937. Actually, you can use it for on your brow bone. I have the 785 tapered blending brush. This is good for blending. I have the tapered powder brush. This is just kind of it's rather large, it's soft, it's pointed, and I've used it for bronzer in the past. I still use this one regularly. This is the 966 Duo Fiber Face Shading Brush, and I use this to blend out cream products, especially contour. And it's a, you know, very like synthetic for cream products. So I've tried this synthetic brand. I think they have a lot of different lines and different colors, different options. Check out their website if you haven't before. Just an option I haven't really heard of, talked about that often on YouTube, but they are out there, and I think they're really pretty, and they're gonna stand out in your brush container, like these colors. So yeah, that's kind of my opinion on synthetic. You know, get the best, softest type of synthetics that you can, but think about price. You don't want to spend a lot of money on synthetics because there's so many options out there that aren't a lot of money. But if you're buying synthetics for, you know, animal reasons, you don't want natural hair brushes because of that. I totally get it. Spend as much as you want. Just realize you could get a natural hair brush for that might be better for the same price. So just think about that. Alright, so as I said before, oh, here's another Bdellium tools. This is a different line. I don't know. This is the 956. It's like a face brush. I don't know. I think this is the bamboo line. Has a like bamboo handle. Another one I forgot about. I've also said before I bought all my expensive brushes, I have dabbled into the drugstore brand Real Techniques. I used to have more. I used to use their big fluffy brush, face brush too. This is a fan brush. This is a mini sculpting brush. I think their products are pretty good. I really like their sponges more than anything else. I think if you're on a limited budget, these are a good starter set. Like, I would actually recommend these over the Sephora Collection like sets that you can get that are like $70. These are better money spent on that Real Techniques brand. So now that I've kind of showed you like my journey, like that's where I started, and then as I've made more money in my life, I've upgraded my makeup and my tools. I think it's important to live within your means. Don't spend all your money on makeup brushes, because it can stack up real quick. I mean, if you're buying brushes that are $100 each, I mean, you're gonna blow through your budget like nothing. Elf, you know, has some okay brushes. They're not the best, but sometimes you need like a little like eyebrow brush or a little spoolie, and those do the trick. So check out the drugstore. I also used to use a lot of Sonia G brushes, the ones at Target. Those weren't bad. I don't use them anymore, but something to consider. I think you can feel them in the store. Just like think about this, like a lot of people have said this, and I have never bought a Morphe brush. I know a lot of artists use Morphe all the time. They're cheap brushes. But I've also heard like once you wash them, the softness goes away. They shed, they're not great quality. But that can happen in a more expensive line too. So there might be some Morphe brushes that people swear by. I think like a good makeup artist standard brush is Sigma brushes. I don't have any personally, but I've heard that's like a good affordable line that you may want to consider as well. I'm just trying to throw out there what I know about brushes. I don't know a ton. Like, I'm not totally into those like Fude Japanese brushes. Like, I have some, but I don't know enough about it to tell you that much about it. So yeah. There's a lot of brushes out there that have really interesting shapes. Like this Fenty one. This is the 120 highlight, and it has like a cutout in it where it's supposed to like apply highlight really well, and it does, but I think it's a little gimmicky. I don't think you need this. Like, I'd rather use my Rephr fan brush to just quickly go like this. Sorry, it looks all funny. Yeah, there's a lot of unique shapes out there. Just think about, okay, what do I really need in my collection? What am I missing when you see these new brushes come out with these odd shapes? Alright, so let's get into my new stuff. So the first sort of like nicer natural hair brushes that I really got into was like, I want to say last year, 2019, maybe 2018. I bought a bunch of Goss brushes. I didn't buy a collection. I don't really suggest buying collections unless you absolutely have no brushes. Sometimes it's just really convenient to buy a whole set and not think about it. But if you're not getting a discount by buying a set, I would really consider getting individual brushes based on what you really need and what shapes you don't have. Sorry, that's not. So let me pull out all my Gosses for you. So these are my Gosses. The ones I got first were I think it was all these. So these, even though they look funny right now, these are the eye brushes. This little eyeliner brush is like super handy. It's like really tiny, flat liner brush. This is the number 8. I have the number 19 and 20, which are like itty bitty kind of blending brushes. They're really soft. They're flexible, so they're not like firm. But I believe these are all goat hair, like these are all natural. This one is really like super soft. I think it's good for blending, but sometimes you need something a little bit stiffer. But if you need something really soft, this is a good option. And it can just get right into the crease really nicely. This is the number 4. And so that's it for my eye brushes from him. And for the face brushes of his, this is the first face brush I got. This is the airbrush. And I really, really like this one. It's super soft. It's called the airbrush. It's like a flat, soft, natural hair brush. And it's really great for like under eye powder or just detailed powder application. It's flat. I think I've even applied blush with it. It's pretty multi-purpose. It's just really soft, and I think it's a reasonable price. So check this one out. And then later on, eventually I got these 2 face brushes from Goss. This is the number 10. I think this is for cheeks, and then the 13 is for the face. And I like this one for cheeks a lot. And then this is good for like buffing in powders. I use this one with the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. Just kind of buff in. These aren't completely dry, so I don't want to mess them up too much. But I think Goss is a great like introduction into natural hair. They're pretty affordable. Some of them are like way more than others. You don't have to get those. I haven't. And then my next leap into brushes was Rephr. So Rephr, I got all at once in a bundle. I know, right? So they had a Kickstarter campaign last summer, and I don't remember the amount that I spent, but if you contributed, they'd give you like a whole bunch of brushes, face and eye, and they're natural hair and they're made in Japan, and I was really intrigued by that. So, and I'm glad I got this set, especially for a couple brushes that to me are just a little unique, and some brushes that I just didn't have. So let me pull out the face brushes first. So again, they look funny because they have gel on them. They're drying. But I have the whole, like, I think I have 1 through 20, or I think they skip 5 numbers, but I have 1 through 15, I think. I don't know. I don't know how their number scheme works. So I have these numbers jump around. But they're all face brushes. So I have number, I'll just go like this. This is 20. This is the fan brush. I use this all the time. It's amazing. Even though I use like a lot of colors with these, they clean up to white. I haven't had any dye issues with them, which is great. This is the number 5. I think this is the big, yeah, this is the big, like, fluffy traditional powder brush. This is the number 19. I think this one's a little bit more domed. So maybe like you could contour, just stick it in somewhere real specific. Yeah, this is just kind of a big fluffier brush. I think what you'll notice when you first touch Rephr brushes is they're soft, but they're not like super soft. And I think you'll find that with a lot of natural hair brushes. They have a little bit of texture. They're a little bit rougher than maybe you think they'd be. But if you think about it, this is animal hair. Most animal hair isn't super soft. It has a little bit of texture. Especially if you've ever petted a goat. Their hair isn't that soft. Just trying to be real. And these are, what's good about Rephr, I think, is they're a little bit stiffer. So if you're looking for stiffer brushes, which I think it's important to have really soft and stiff brushes in your collection. And when I mean soft, I mean like really wispy and flexible. Like this is a really wispy and flexible brush. But this one is a lot more stiffer. So when you use certain kind of products, you're going to want to use a stiffer brush. Some products you're going to want a really flexible one, really airy. So the Rephr line, in my opinion, is stiffer, but they're really great. So this is kind of an angled cheek brush. This is number 4. Number 18, I believe, is like a small cheek as well. You could use it for multiple things. And this is like a tiny, this is a unique one. Number 17, this is like a tiny like face blending brush, airbrush. You could probably use mineral makeup with this. I have another mineral makeup one that got really great reviews. Is the It Cosmetics one, and I think it's okay. It's not great, but I bought this for mineral makeup specifically, and you know, it does a fine job, but you could get away with using this. It's just tiny. This, I think that's unique, the small size. So those are my Rephr face brushes. I think I use, like, besides the fan brush and maybe the powder brush, I don't use these that often. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I have so many other great face brushes. But these are the ones I really use all the time. This is number 20 and number 5. I don't know if it's like the shapes. These shapes are a little bit odd to me. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know why I don't grab for them. Have you ever gone through your collection and be like, I don't know why I don't use this? So the Wayne Goss is actually similar to the Rephr 18. right? Just slightly different. A little more pointed for a blush, whereas this is more like a ball. So just different shapes give you a little bit different application. But yeah, so those are the Rephr face brushes. So these are all the eye ones I have. They give you a lot of eye brushes, which is really neat. I use these a lot. I didn't think I would, but they have a lot of really great shapes in here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 8 eye brushes in the collection, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 face brushes. So I believe you can buy this set right now. What I really want from Rephr is that big bronzer brush. It didn't come as part of this, but I think it's really expensive by itself. So yeah, I got quite the deal with the Kickstarter by buying this early. It's more expensive to buy it now, but I still think there's something worth considering. You certainly don't have to buy all of them, but I do want to point out some unique shapes, or maybe some shapes you don't see a lot. So these are kind of standard, these ones right here. I'll take out like the boring ones. Rephr's gonna hate me for that one. So these are like different sizes of the same brush. Some slightly thicker and bigger than others. And they remind me of these Wayne Gosses, right? They're all similar looking, but these are stiffer than Wayne Gosses. And they're just different types of blending and application brushes. So if you need to do a tight little area, and you're not necessarily just going to blend with this, but you're actually going to apply eyeshadow with it. And I mean, same for all of these. This one is really huge. I think you would mostly use this for blending, no product on it. But these are all essentially the same, different ways. So 13, 15, 13, 14, 15, 16. All similar, right? So now that those are out of the way, here's the rest of them. We have number 1, and this is, it looks like the ones I just showed you, but it's more of a flat brush, and you could use this for application, you know, like this. Like it's flat but thick. It's pinched. This one's nice. I think these 3 is where it's at. So this is the number 2. This is like a flat, thin brush that you could use to pack on eyeshadow. I like this one. You don't see a lot of these. I don't know, maybe you do. I don't see a lot of brushes that look like this. Then we have the number 12, and this is a unique one. This is like a dense little dome. I don't know how else to describe it. It's hard to see shapes on, you know, without it being in front of you, but I'll try to give you the 3D experience. So this guy is like the same thickness all the way up, and then kind of a dome top. See that? So kind of a funny shape, but this kind of brush, it's so dense and thick. It's great for like doing blending that's, to me, like really tricky to blend out. So if you have like an eyeliner that's just not moving, this is gonna help move it. And just something that's kind of really stuck on, it's gonna help move it out. So this is like a tight little blender. I think this is unique. I don't see a lot of brushes like this. And this one is really good. This is the number 3. This is perfect for inner corner or under the eye. It's like a tiny little brush, real simple, but it's stiff enough that you can do application, but you can also use it to blend out. This is a small but mighty one. I really like that one. So those are kind of my top picks for the eyes. And that is Rephr. There's a lot of videos on Rephr. I don't know that it's totally like hit mainstream, like it's not a household name. It's relatively new. It was created by a couple like IT guys or something. That's probably not right. But guys not in the makeup field, not in the makeup tool field, but they took what they knew and they wanted to create a good brush line based on people's feedback and what they actually want. So it's a feedback type of company. So in the beginning, and I think they're still doing it, they would send people prototypes and then if you gave your feedback, it was free. You got to keep the brush. And then they would change their brushes based on that feedback. So pretty cool concept. I was all for it, and I wanted to get a discount on some nice brushes. The ones that you're seeing, these are the longer handled ones. You can have short or normal length. They're just a nice matte black. I think they're nicely designed. Now let's get into the most expensive brushes that I own. So I'm gonna start with the eye brushes because that's what I started with. And then we'll get into my couple other random stuff. So Sonia G. I love Sonia G, but they're only available at Beautylish. And you can't go in person and feel them, which sucks. So you gotta really rely on people's testimonials and YouTube and pictures, and that's it. So I trusted a lot of people, and I'm glad I did. Sonia G is worth the money. So these are the eye brushes that I have. I have the Blender Pro. This is just a classic, good blender brush. I use it all the time. It's soft. It keeps its shape. Nothing else much to say about that. Just a good workhorse. This is the Pencil Pro. So this is actually the most similar to that Rephr brush I was showing you, number 12. But it's slightly more refined and smaller. And again, this is good for blending out eyeliner, pencil, or whatever. Really handy. This is kind of a flat packer brush. This is the Builder one. I wish the bristles were a little bit longer on this one. It's a little hard to get to the very end of this because it just goes right into the ferrule, and the ferrule's really thick. So it's a little bit strange, but it does have this nice kind of circular shape to it, even though it's flat. So this is a good one too. It's really soft. And then these I use constantly. They're always dirty. This is the Crease Pro. And what's great about these, they're usually the name, it kind of explains it. You're gonna apply, use this for the crease. It's that perfect sort of shape. I think, as I said, this is a common shape. It's like a domed, kind of puffy shape that Rephr has a lot of, Goss has a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of similar shapes to this one. So while this is good and I use it all the time because it's nice and soft, there's a lot of, this isn't unique, there's a lot of brushes with this shape. Just gonna say that. Now these two, while these are common shapes as well, I think these are really great. This is the Builder Pro and this is the Worker Pro. So this is like a flat packer brush, but just really soft and refined and just makes things really a breeze to apply. And the Worker Pro, it's also flat but also puffy. And while these are natural, these are soft. So I would say the whole Sonia G line is softer than Rephr. Even though they're both natural hair, they're both made in Japan, Sonia G is softer. Just gonna say it, but I do find uses for both. Even though these are softer, I don't always reach for them. I reach for them a lot, but I like having the variety that I have. Just gonna say it. Don't kill me. But these are all really nice. I don't have like a full collection. I bought these all individually. So there's gonna be some that I'm missing. But I'm okay with these. I mean, I get the job done with these. I feel like I don't need more, but that doesn't mean I won't buy more. Sonia G face brush. I got all of these like a month ago. Not even. And I didn't have them because they've been out of stock for a long time. Sonia G is hard to get. Like, her stuff sells out quickly. They only make so much at a time. What I've noticed, I love the softness of them. I have experienced some shedding. I think that's a little bit unfortunate, but I'm gonna keep using them. I don't think they're bad. It's too bad that I've experienced shedding. I mean, I experienced shedding just before I even washed them for the first time. So to me, I was a bit disappointed by that. So you can see them popping out right now. I think I'm going to continue to use it. It still works great. I think if it continues to shed and shed, it's not going to look as good and work as good. But we'll see. This is really soft. I really like this for contour. Like, it blends things out really well. I have a problem with contour being really patchy on me, but this blends it out like a dream. I'm tempted to get the smaller versions of this. This is the Sculpt one, and she has other sizes, and I'm tempted to get a smaller size because I think it is a little bit big, but it is handy to have. And to me, it really replaces something like this that's really soft and flexible. This is more stiff and better at blending. This is the Inochige Pro. I think I got eyelash glue all over these. This is a really nice, soft, kind of dome-shaped brush. I use this for a lot of different things, bronzer, contour, whatever. It's pretty universally shaped. I have like the similar shape synthetic one. This one feels softer than the synthetic. This one's kind of lost some of its shape. But this one's really good. I've really been enjoying it. This is the Face Pro, and I was really most excited to get this one because I needed like just a nice big soft fluffy brush in this standard sort of shape. It's a little bit slanted, but it's just super soft and nice. I have seen a little bit of shedding with this one too. When applying my powder, just kind of buffs out and pops out. But still, I mean, hopefully it doesn't continue to shed a lot. I've just seen a little bit of it. And my last face brush that I have is the Designer Pro. Now this is a really cute, soft little brush. I think it's somewhat similar, but it's fatter than the Goss airbrush. I think the airbrush is softer, But this one, I've struggled a little bit to find uses for it. I've used it for contour, and then I've used it for blush. I've used it under the eye. It's just a little bit smaller. It's really soft. I haven't seen really any shedding with this one. It's really nice. Could I have done without it? Probably. So probably my favorite face brushes are all three of these. I really like them, but I probably could have used a smaller one with this. So that's kind of it for my big high-end brushes. What I have left to show you are some MAC brushes and my Luxie. I got this in like a Allure beauty box. And it's not much to it. I mean, it's soft. It has a fine shape, but not really impressive, but I still have it. This is something I feel like everyone should have. This is like a pencil eyeliner brush, but you can use it for your brows, eyeliner, whatever. I probably need a new one because it's a little bit frayed. And then I have a lip brush from MAC, just a simple lip brush. A really skinny eyeliner brush from MAC that I haven't used a lot. And this is kind of like a precision blender, just a small little blender brush, also from MAC. I think that's all I really have to talk about with the brushes. I think my main sort of takeaway point from all of this, it's a journey when it comes to brushes. They can be really expensive and they can be really overwhelming, and so because of that, I think a lot of people just say, I don't need new brushes, what I have works okay, it's fine, it gets the job done. I think that's certainly true, but I would just buy a random brush one at a time, a little bit nicer than what you have. It doesn't have to be natural if that's not your thing, but just something a little bit better, a little softer, a little bit better quality, and maybe go for a brand you've never used before. I mentioned some earlier in my video, and just try that out, try one out. You don't need to buy a whole set, and see how that feels. Does it help with your application? Does it make things easier? Are things happening faster for you because of that brush? I would just really take it one brush at a time, and then if you do like that brush, continue on with the brand, and then maybe try from a couple different brands and just sort of compare like what works best. You don't have to go all out and buy a whole set. That's not really what I recommend at all. Try individual brushes, but also look at what kind of makeup you're using. Do you use cream products? If you do, you're mostly going to want to use synthetic for the most part, like plastic, like this. Because with cream products, and you're using like a natural hair brush, it's not going to apply right. And they're just going to mess up your brushes because they're just going to get stuck in there. It's not great for your brushes to do that. So think about what kind of products you use. Also, like if you use contour, what are you using for contour to apply it, and how are you blending it out? I think that is like a specific type of brush shape that you're going to need. Also, highlighter, you may want a brush that's really specific than like a giant basic brush. You can't really apply highlighter very precisely with something this huge. So think about what you're using. If you're using bronzer, are you getting it all over your face when you really want it only here? Maybe you need something a little more pointed and smaller. Eyeshadow is tricky depending on how big your eyes are and your eye shape. that can really determine sizes of brushes and shapes of brushes. Wayne has a lot of videos if you have hooded eyes about what kind of brushes you should use, and he says that his brushes are great for hooded eyes. I don't know about that. I mean, I have somewhat hooded eyes and I enjoy his brushes, but I'm sure there's a lot out there that could do the same thing. If you have large eyes, you can get away with these like giant applying things with really big brushes. But if you have eyes on the smaller side, you may want to find a brush line that really caters to that. So you're gonna have to do your homework, read some reviews, find people with eyes like you and ask them, like, what brushes do you use? It's a lot to think about. I think I have pretty like standard eyes. I do have some hooding, so eyeliner is tricky for me, but I know I can't use like a huge brush. I don't know that too many people can, but I don't know. I've just noticed as I've upgraded my brushes, my eye makeup has gotten easier and smoother. My face makeup, especially like blush, applies so much better with a nicer brush than with like an older like brush that doesn't blend things out very well. I think nicer brushes do a better job of blending. I'm just gonna say it. And yeah, I mean, I have a brush set at my boyfriend's house, and I have makeup there that I just keep there. And when I use those brushes, the experience is terrible and I hate it. And I'm like, oh, this makeup application is so much more unpleasant when I don't have my tools. So as you upgrade, you're gonna get spoiled. You're gonna be like, you know what, this is way easier with that one brush that I have. And so then you start thinking, maybe I should get more like that. And that's where the landslide of brush spending sort of evolves from. You get one good brush and you're like, I should get more of those. Things are way easier and more pleasant and faster if I get the right brush. That's just my opinion. There's no right brush for everyone. I mean, this is all opinions, right? There's no perfect brushes. Now, there's a whole range of luxury brushes out there that are $400 for one brush. Not what I'm gonna do. That's not what I'm about. That is not what I'm about. Now, like, luxury brands have their own line of brushes. Some of them are good, some of them are not. I don't really do that. I don't like buy a random Marc Jacobs brush. I don't have any Tom Ford brushes. Just because I've heard they're kind of declined in quality, especially Tom Ford. And a lot of those brands, maybe they started out with natural hair and now they're putting out synthetic, but they're just as expensive, which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why are you selling an $80 synthetic brush? I don't get it. I mean, I get the $400 brush if it says it's fox hair. That makes sense to me, right? But $80 plastic? I don't know. Sounds like a branding expense. Anyways, that's sort of my really long brush video. I hope you learned something. I hope you at least try to expand your range, try different brands. If you don't have any really nice brushes that you love, it's really a game changer, in my opinion, especially with complexion products. They just blend out better, your result is better, and eyeshadow. Funny enough, I don't use a lot of foundation brushes. I use a sponge, and I use this little sponge for concealer. And that really has worked out well for me to apply with a damp sponge, especially with my skin type. Things just work out better for me. But let me know your guys' thoughts. What is your favorite brush brand? or if you have specific brushes that you swear by, let me know. Leave a comment. If I'm missing anything from any of these brands that I already have that I need, let me know. And thanks so much for watching. And I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.